I'm the coronavirus, and I'm here to tell you all the ways you can defend yourself from getting sickness I spew. I'm the coronavirus, and I'm an infectious disease. If you do these simple things, you'll have a better chance of not catching me. You probably heard of me, I love being the center of attention. Just recently I've spread across the globe causing infection. I'm a microscopic germ, you're probably wondering what that means. I can't be seen with the naked eye, it takes a microscope to see me. I'm mostly spread person to person like a common cold. I'm spread by droplets when a person coughs or sneezes, that's what I'm told. You can call me coronavirus 2019, or you can call me COVID-19 as seen. These are the ways to avoid me so you don't get sick. Make sure you practice all these things I tell you after hearing this. Make sure you wash your hands, yes, regularly. Don't put your hands in your mouth, no matter how tasty they seem. When you wash your hands, make sure you sing happy birthday twice. This will ensure that you don't have me on you. Please take my advice. If you have to sneeze or cough, catch it in your elbow or sleeve. If someone's coughing around you, stay away from them, please. In the days to come, please don't worry and don't you stress. Be sure to relax a bunch because rest is the best. Eat lots of healthy food, exercise, and get lots of sleep. Practice these healthy habits for your immune system upkeep. Stay away from large groups of people, that's what I recommend. Stay home as much as possible, it might save lives in the end. By practicing what I told you, you can slow the spread of this disease. To keep humans thriving around the world, stay healthy and clean. I'm the coronavirus, and I'm here to tell you all the ways you can defend yourself from getting sickness I spew. I'm the coronavirus, and I'm an infectious disease. If you do these simple things, you'll have a better chance of not catching me.
Welcome to the Teachers Unplugged. On today's show, we will discuss teacher burnout, brain breaks for students with Tech Out Education host Ms. Kajana Stevens. Read the Runways, Ms. Natanya Wyndham will give us some ideas on comfortable workout gear, yoga and breathing techniques to help you de-stress with certified yoga instructor Ms. Michelin Gooden. And finally, you've been schooled to prize of the day. And now the host of Teachers Unplugged, Ms. Shani Zelda Montgomery, Ms. Natanya Wyndham, and Ms. Kajana Stevens.
Welcome to another edition of the Teachers Unplugged. Again, we are happy to have you here. How are you doing today, ladies?
Great. Happy Wednesday.
Yes, happy Wednesday. As we embark upon a new school year in a couple of weeks, we cannot negate the fact that a large number of our colleagues will not be returning to the classroom. Some will retire, and rightfully so. A few will get laid off, unfortunately, and some will accept administrative positions where they feel they can impact student achievement on a greater level. However, a large number of teachers are leaving prematurely. Now, in the past, teachers left within 1 to 5 years once the responsibilities of the job became too overwhelming and this career choice no longer became a viable one for them. Now, teachers are leaving that have 6 or more years. Our seasoned teachers are actually leaving before their time, and some attribute this to teacher burnout. Yes. Now, according to UCLA Center of Mental Health in Schools and school teachers are 3 times more likely to quit. And they quit because of teacher burnout. Now, burnout is real, and it happens when we're overwhelmed and expectations of our jobs become too much and it overshadows our joy. Job burnout is real, and in most professions, it happens all the time. But it's significantly more prevalent in the educational field or any type of helping field. There are a couple of signs of teacher burnout, poor working conditions, low pay, testing pressures, and the threat of layoffs. Now, edutopia.org has 4 specific warning signs of teacher burnout, and they are missing in action. Teachers stop attending social gatherings and luncheons. They just disappear altogether. The end of sharing. Teachers no longer feel like sharing. It's hard to talk because you're always in a funk. Complaint department. You don't speak to your colleagues, and when you do, you're just complaining. Everything is a problem. You're in a very dark space where only complaints can live, and your spark is gone. In your smile when you're greeting your students, when they're receiving achievements, no more teary eyes when your students are moving up or moving on. Now, a lot of teachers are really starting to feel like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. He created this aesthetically pleasing environment for the children and for their parents, and he tried to bring them in and show them some things that he had in the works. But unfortunately, the Blueberry Girl, everybody wanted to do things their way. Everybody wanted something from him, and no one wanted to listen to what he had to say. Exactly. So what happens is...
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
That's right. Good day, sir. But are we losing out? Like, who's losing? Who's getting nothing in the end? In the grand scheme of things, who's really getting nothing?
It's really affecting more so the students than anybody, and I think that people need to understand that teachers are humans first, and we need time to unwind and clear our minds. And often, when we arrive into a school, we're bombarded with questions, statements, or just people wanting to talk to us before we can actually start our day. And we're expected to respond to these questions and statements in a pleasant manner, no matter what state of mind we may be in, because we just arrived to work as well.
Absolutely.
So I think that it's important that teachers have a preparation palace where when they enter their jobs, they have somewhere where they can go,
a preparation palace
filled with refreshments, supplies, computers, copy machines, fax machines, and people that could actually assist us during the course of our day, mentors especially, and a list of workshops where, we can go and improve our skills. Absolutely. I think that would alleviate a lot of tension.
I know it would alleviate my tension.
Well, I think it's also important to note that the teachers who probably tend to burn out the fastest are the teachers that are given the greatest share of the workload in the building. So for example, your strongest teachers or your more seasoned teachers tend to be the teachers that have the greater share of maybe students that are taking certain advanced level courses, or the greater share of students that are taking specific national or state tests. And so it's important to make sure that you insulate teachers and that you support them and that you acknowledge the work that they've done.
Definitely.
Once you've given them, this responsibility. And it's also important, I think, to distribute the workload evenly.
Yes.
The way teachers become better teachers is they have to be given a task and to overcome the obstacles and rise to the challenge that they've been given. So if you keep giving one teacher or two teachers or a few teachers
the bulk of the work,
the lion's share of the work, you are going to burn out those teachers. And I think that is a very real issue.
Especially teachers under 30, they burn out 51% higher than other teachers, teachers that are older than they are.
It takes a lot to be a teacher. It's a very difficult profession. It takes a lot of skills, energy, effort, and time to be able to make the differences that we're expected to make in the lives of the multicultural groups of children with multifaceted learning styles. And
what do you guys think about sabbaticals?
I think they're essential. I think a sabbatical is a way to rejuvenate. It's a way to give you a chance to learn more about your field and to come up with new and creative solutions, maybe to gain greater knowledge.
Before leaving the position, the job completely.
Exactly.
Just
and
give yourself some time.
And it's also a way for you to step back and make sure that this is something that you want to do, because teaching is very demanding. And it can also be very stressful. And as teachers, we spend a lot of time outside of the classroom preparing.
Yes.
We're using prep time wherever we are, at the doctor's office, in a restaurant, wherever you are, you're getting some type of creative energy that you're going to bring back to your students, and anything can be a spark for a lesson in a classroom. And so we're always on.
And sabbaticals can give you the skills that you need to deal with these students that come to school every day with these adult issues, which makes it even more difficult to be able to teach.
Absolutely. Your girls are absolutely right. Now, if you log on to uft.org, they can give you the whole breakdown of taking a sabbatical. Edutopia.org also has some strategies for recovering after your worst day of teaching. Find a friendly shoulder, a colleague, preferably someone who's been teaching for a while, because more than likely they have some strategies that you can use to help you get over whatever it is you're going through. Plan for community. Consider pausing that scheduled lesson and try to do a team building activity that involves your students. And we have a wonderful website later on in the show that we're going to tell you about that will help you do just that. Prioritize. Write a list of 3 things that you need to get done, get them done, and go to bed early. Your rest is very important.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Get perspectives. Your other roles are important, your friends, your family, your spouse, your children. Forget about work over the weekend and do something that makes you happy. Never neglect your happiness for anything. Of course, we can be good, caring, rigorous teachers, but sacrificing our happiness is an unsustainable feat. We cannot do it. Burnout hits 1 out of every 4 teachers, so none of us are immune to it. And the last one, breathe. Now sit with the discomfort and notice it. Ooh. Be aware of it. Acknowledge your frustrations. Don't let them, just go by the sideline. Acknowledge them and then let them go. Don't carry them over. And be kind to yourself. So many others are really unkind to teachers, so be kind to yourself and breathe. Let's try it, girls. You ready? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now nice. I feel better already, don't you, girls?
Absolutely. And let's not forget that all-important mental health day. It's sometimes you just have to step back and just totally clear your head, give your students a chance to settle down, give them a chance to reset as well.
Absolutely.
And just come in the next day or the following day and just feel refreshed, exactly, with a brand new perspective and a renewed sense of purpose.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And speaking of breathing and refreshing yourself, a number of teachers, students, and anyone in a stressful job, a lot of people are picking up yoga and breathing techniques and meditating, as a way of trying to relieve some stress. So here to discuss, well, she's not here, but she sent us a nice video of some fabulous yoga poses and breathing techniques that you can do. She's a certified yoga expert and an early childhood elementary educator. Her name is Miss Michelin Gooden, and you can do this at home, you can do it in your classroom, you can do it with your students, and we know it's important to do things with your students because they're pretty much burnt out as well. All across the United States, students are experiencing high levels of stress that they feel can impact every aspect of their lives. Miss Gooden, we're going to continue to breathe.
Hi, my name is Michelin Gooden and I am a certified yoga instructor as well as a certified children's yoga instructor. So belly breathing, so focus on your belly. So instead of breathing with your shoulders and everything lifting up, you want to actually inhale and have your belly press out. And as you exhale, have your belly press back in. So it's the next breathing technique is the balloon breathing technique. So this is really for children, but you can do it as well. You just place your hands in front of your mouth as if you were about to blow up a balloon. Take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, pretend that you're filling a balloon up. The next breathing technique is called smell the flowers. You can just pretend to hold the flowers in their hand. Take a deep inhale. And the flowers smell so good. Or to kind of go along with smell the flowers, we have sniff and sigh. So it's just sniffing in and sighing out. And then there's bunny breath. This is more of an energizing breath. If your class is kind of lethargic, maybe it's the end of the day, after lunch, they've had too much chocolate milk. It's 3 quick inhales and then a slow exhale. Another breathing technique, which is a tangible representation of your children's breathing, is called breathe and draw. So the children will have some kind of writing utensil, pencil, pen, marker, crayon, whatever they'd like, and they close their eyes in front of a piece of paper, and on an inhale, they draw up, and on an exhale, they draw down. And you just do that. Not what their breath looks like, but it is a representation of them breathing deeply and exhaling deeply. Okay, and now we're gonna move from breathing exercises to actual yoga poses. So I'm just gonna stand up. And we're going to start with the elevator pose. And as you can imagine, an elevator goes up and down. This pose, children are going to go all the way up on their toes, and it becomes balance. So balance helps children focus. And then they reach their arms up, and you have to kind of explain to them that they have to stare at something so that they don't lose their balance. And then just like an elevator, they slowly go down, 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 down. And they balance on their knees. And then they can open their arms up like a bird. They can flap their wings. They can twist one side to the other. And then, if they want to challenge themselves, they can close their eyes. And when they're ready, all they have to do is raise their arms to come up and slowly lift, 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 staying on their toes. And then relax, heels back down. Then there's eagle pose. Eagle pose in Sanskrit is called Garudasana, and it's a balance pose. It comes from wrapping the legs around and then wrapping the arms around. So I'm going to begin by bending one knee and then wrapping my other leg around it, and then reaching my arms out in a quick swing to wrap one arm under the other. And then all I have to do is balance and smile and breathe. That's eagle. And of course, in yoga, we always do the other side. A pose that I do a lot in my classroom is tree pose. So, all you do is balance on one leg and lift the other. And you place you place the sole of the foot on the inside of the standing leg. Now, you have a lot of options with your arms. They can go out like a T for balance, or you can bring them up like a tall tree. You can, because children love to do challenging things, is half moon. So one foot turns to face forward, and then the children extend that same arm out, and then they just reach for the floor. And as they reach for the floor, the opposite leg is going to come up, and they just try to reach it up as high as they can. It may not look perfect when the kids do it, which is totally fine because they're kids. And it's really all about them doing the pose and having fun in it. And then to come up, you just come back up. The last pose is something that I've made up. It's called superhero pose. And I saw somewhere that if you stand like a superhero, your self-confidence will improve. Studies are out there that show that this will happen. So we go from superhero pose, and I'm going to turn this way, start from my superhero, and then go into Superman. So I'm just going to lean on one leg, stretch the opposite leg out, and then reach my arms in front of me like Superman flying through the sky. And when it's time to come down, I simply bring myself back down and stand in my superhero pose. And that is it. Thank you for participating in my yoga class. Once again, my name is Michelin Gooden. Namaste.
Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Ding! Namaste, Miss Gooden. Namaste. Thank you for that. Now, Miss Wyndham, can you read the runway and let us know what should we wear when we're trying to do these yoga poses? Because I know it's not like cardio and it's not as intense, so I know our attire should somehow meet the requirements of comfort as well as movement.
Well, according to popsugar.com, yoga is definitely not black and white, but there are some do's and don'ts when it comes to your attire. Comfort and fit are so key, so you can focus on doing the poses instead of futzing with your outfit. Check out these suggestions so you know what not to wear for yoga. Short, spandex, and loose shorts can bunch up and show too much, and you do not want to show your goodies. T-shirts, loose tank tops, short tops, low-cut, revealing, unsupported, and light-colored tops, which are risky if you sweat a lot, aren't so good at all. Do wear fitted cropped or full-length leggings. Not only is your booty covered, but the material hugging your legs will also absorb sweat, giving you traction to do arm balancing poses. Also, go for long fitted tank tops because they stay put and keep you covered no matter whether you twist, bend backward, or flip upside down. And you kind of want to be able to flip upside down and move around because it's good for blood circulation.
So no Daisy Dukes and crop tops, halter tops. Is that out?
Yes, that's out.
Revamped wardrobe time. Miss Gooden's yoga piece, we like to call that Calm and Core. To keep up the momentum of calm and core and just de-stressing and things to help you de-stress is our very own Miss Kajana Stevens. She's going to let you know a website that you can work with your students in the classroom in our Tech Out Education segment. Miss Stevens?
Thank you very much. And speaking of Calm and Core, Go Noodle is an online website with videos and games to help kids channel their physical and emotional energy for good. Go Noodle's short, desk-side physical activities help teachers manage their classroom and improve student performance. Over 68,000 schools, 480,000 teachers, and 10 million students all participate and have clocked over 465 million minutes of activities. It's headquartered in Nashville, Tennessee, and Go Noodle is a leading kids brand committed to making physical activity an integral part of kids' daily lives.
Nice.
And therefore, we give Go Noodle an A+.
We love Go Noodle. It's called Brain Breaks as well. Now, here to discuss a famous face that we lost in education as well, but we gained him in entertainment, is our very own Miss Natanya Wyndham and our celebrity smarty pants, You've Been Schooled.
Thank you, Shan. The tongue-flicking bassist of Kiss, Gene Simmons, taught the 6th grade in Harlem before he became the world's most famous bass-playing demon. Simmons headed to Sullivan County Community College to get his associate's degree in education. After spending 2 years there, he returned to New York City to attend Richmond College and finish up his bachelor's degree. Shortly after graduation in 1970, Simmons' bandmate and childhood friend, Steve Colonel, introduced Simmons to guitarist Stanley Eisen, later known as Paul Stanley. Stanley decided to join Simmons and Colonel's band, Wicked Lester, and the group began experiencing some success on the nightclub circuit. But the band wasn't pulling in enough money, and to support his musical aspirations, Simmons held a brief stint as a 6th grade teacher in Spanish Harlem. Later, Simmons revealed in interviews that his superiors canned him for replacing the works of Shakespeare with Spider-Man comics, which he thought the students were more likely to actually read. I think the students would have loved to read Spider-Man. Who doesn't?
I think so too. I think, you steal the students' joy when you give them something they're not interested in. And Gene Simmons was onto something with the Spider-Man comics because that's all the students read now.
Well, you just want them to read. And so whatever interests them, as long as they're reading, is a good thing.
I think KISS was a better group behind having a teacher in their group. Go Gene Simmons.
Too. Yes.
Okay, so the government have closed the schools. You're effectively your children's teacher. This might seem a bit daunting, but I'm here to tell you that it's possible. I've been home educating my children for the last 8 years and working from home. Here are my top tips. Okay, so tip number 1 is don't try and replicate the school system. You can't and you don't need to. The way that your teachers will be teaching your children is very different from how you will teach your children. So cast that aside, stop worrying about it. Teach in the way that you would teach and in a way that suits you and your child, and don't worry about what's been happening at school particularly. So tip number 2 is to do with timetabling. For many of us, a timetable is absolutely essential. For many of us, it isn't essential. If you do want to set a timetable so that you can work alongside your children, then make sure it's one that suits you. Work it around your working hours, their waking hours, when they're at their most productive. This is a great time to really get to know your children. So if they are morning people, front load the academic work in the morning, have the afternoon set aside for free play, try and work your working hours around them, and just make a timetable that suits you. Don't Don't look on social media at the timetable that your neighbour has posted that's all colour-coded and terrifying and onerous. Just think of one that suits you and stick to that. So tip number 3 is about getting outside as much as you can, if you can. Obviously, not all of us are able to sit in the garden, but remember that playing in the garden, playing in the mud is education. Don't try and think that your children need to be sat at their desks all day poring over maths books. Fresh air is good for you. Fresh air will make them learn better. It will make you happier. Sunshine will be better for them. There's plenty of educational opportunities outside if you're able to go. So get outside as much as is possible and safe for you. Tip number 4 is to really value the one-to-one time that this experience will give you. As a home editor, I don't tend to spend 8 hours a day working one-to-one with my children, but what I do give them is really valuable short bursts of one-to-one attention. So if there's a maths problem that they're struggling with, I can really sit down with them, explain the concept, make sure they've understood it, then send them away to do it themselves. And this is something that not all children get in the school system. And so this is something that you can really make the most of, and it doesn't need to take up a lot of your day. A good friend of mine referred to home editing as being as though your child has a full-time PhD tutor, and that's the way to treat it, is to imagine that you can really help them guide their own learning, and this is really valuable. So tip number 5 is to take advantage of the massive wealth of online resources. There's absolutely loads of things out there. There are sites dedicated to home education. There's Twinkle, which is a really good teacher resource site. The TES has handouts and printouts available. There's Conquer Maths, which is a brilliant daily maths program. Some of these you pay for, some of these are free, some have a mixture of free and paid content. There's absolutely loads out there, so you don't need to worry about worksheets and curriculum-based activities. But there's also a lot of brilliant online resources that you might not have thought of. So English Heritage, I think, do lots of school-based downloads and videos and things. Most of the galleries are doing virtual tours, which is really worth looking at. So if you go on any of the major galleries, they're doing walkthroughs, which is great for you and your children to explore together. The music, lots of the main orchestras are doing live concert performances. The internet is your friend in this situation. Your children, don't think of it as something that your children are going to be glued to all day. Think of it as something that you can use together. So you can watch concerts online, you can work through tutorials together. It's something that can really help you all bond and know that everybody else is doing the same. Just to summarise, lots of people home educate all day, every day. I've been doing this effectively for 8 years and I'm still smiling and I still really love it. This is a really good opportunity for you to get to know your children, to know what motivates them, to know what excites them, to know how they learn and to know what they need to learn. And you might learn something about yourself in the process.
Us again, and we hope you will continue to join us because we have so much to give and so much to say that can help you and your family and your children. This is not just for teachers.
My eyes to the sky, looking for signs of a deep breather, sigh of relief, it ain't my time to leave. So many people's ain't safe, I ain't even raised my seed. The price paid wasn't cheap, my life's like a receipt. Recurring theme, Christ redeems, and I would agree. With difficulties seem to be at a greater degree. I'm saying, greater is he whose favors on me than he who's under my feet every day of the week. Exillion, stay on the beat, like I'm the police, might even